Okay, I'm going to talk about skins, about how skins look like now, how skins look like in the new pipeline. So that's the topic for my session. Let me thank our sponsors first, because they are really important. Thank you very much. I will first go over the aperture skin, what it looks like now in the sense of ASCX and cshtml. Then I'm going to look a little bit about what skin objects are and where they live in the source, so you can reference that in your if you want to know something. I'm going to talk a bit about the server-side code that you see in DNN skins nowadays and where you can get that, because it's sort of the same as usual. And then at the bigger part is then I go to use a DNN Go skin and try to convert that to a cshtml. And I do that because a number of people are using those skins for simple websites, and we can see how far we can come. Okay, let's first go to the DNN skin. So, I must make it a bit bigger, I think. Is this readable? Yeah? Okay. So this is when you install the package, the MVC package, the standard, what is being provided. Then you get the following site, and that looks like, I have to start it up again, of course. It's just a regular, well, it's not a regular, but it's a DNN 1099 version. So let's see. Let's go to the home page. It wants to do that. So, so you started. I made a logo for that. That's know that it's the MVC thing. So you get a number of module patterns that's already there. That's Peter talked about. That SPA React, and etc. And this is a regular skin, but when you go to the MVC page, then you will see when you hover over the title of the page that it will say that it is MVC. Well, not in this one, but maybe in the other one. And you can simply change that by going into to the page settings and go to the advanced more setting, and you say, well, what rendering engine do you want to use? You want to use inherited, so that's the site-wide setting, or you want to do the MVC. If you do that, you get, of course, the same site, the same skin, but you will see that it is the MVC version, because in the title, and that's, of course, a test, the test situation right now, then it's sort of a handy way to see that it's the MVC version. When you compare the two skins, here you see the default skin of the default, the default skin. You see a number of skin variants. That's what we call them. So in this case, this is a simple skin. It has only one, and it has a number of includes, and those includes refer to a partials folder, and that has, of course, stuff in it. Most skin builders do that you have sort of separation of concerns, or can reuse stuff in other skin variants. So this is the ASCX version. In the views folder, you see actually the same structure. You see, again, a default cshtml, that is this one. It has no register tags, as this other, the ASCX version had. The register tags in this particular case are in the partials folder, and then you see here, probably in, here in the register, you see a large number of register tags, and that are the skin objects which you can use or which they are using in this particular skin. Now, in this particular skin, there's not much used, but you can do that. So here you see the same thing. You see an header section with, and now we're going to look at helpers. So when you look at the cshtml version, you see, in this case, a skin partial, the skin partial helper, and that loads the cshtml for, in this case, the header. And you can find those partials again in the view folder. So you see the include section, which has some stuff in it, for instance. Exactly, you can see that every component that we are using in the ASCX skins is also available in the HTML, in the cshtml version, so the MVC version. So the structure is sort of the same. So here you got those partials, here you got the partials as well. And in the main section of the skin, you see actually the panes. And the panes have a number of properties on them, and the mandatory property is the ID property. And you can have you can have a number of other properties as long as they are defined in the source of DNN. So in this case, ID is one, CSS class is one for panes. When you look at things like the menu, you see, of course, other stuff. In this particular case, where is the header? You see here that the DDR menu helper has a number of other things. It has a client ID. It has CSS classes added to it. The menu style, and the menu style, of course, is that lives here in the menu folder. And you see here that they got a desktop version. They also got a mobile version, and they got a footer version. So they're as what you did for current menus, you can do the same for MVC skins, and you can reuse them, because if you have a menu definition, in this case, the menu definition links to a razor file, but you could also link to an XML version, or I don't know, in text version. I don't know if that works. The XSLT version, that just works in the MVC skin. So this is how a skin looks. So, and what kind of helpers we have available. When you want to know what helpers there are, those you will find in the source of DNN. And when we look at the source of DNN, let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? No, that's not this one. It's not that one. Let me increase this a bit. Yes, so in this file, that is in the source of the DNN-Connect repo for the .NET platform, and then the MVC version. You see that in the MVC pipeline folder, you see a skin folder, and in that skin folder, there are a number of files, and they are all the helper files. So you have a helper file for breadcrumb, you have a helper file for whatever, anything you are currently used to when you build skins. So the CSS includes has something, and the good thing about that is that you can see what kind of properties there are available. So let's go back to the panes version again. Then you can see that this version requires a string. If you don't give a string, you get an error, and it has an option to add a CSS class. Well, and of course, when you go to the login, version, you get other parameters you have to add to it. In this case, everything seems to be, everything is optional because they all have default values. So you can simply say html.login and you got the login control. And we see that in a bit. So that's one part of, I think this is a very nice way to see from, hey, what is available in my skin. It is really readable because it's just C# code, and it helps you work on your skin. The other thing, what you see here in the skin file, is a model. In this case, it's the page model that is injected inside the skin, and that means that it is a strong typed model that you can use in the skin. And what is in that model? Well, then of course you can look at the source again, and I put it on here, and yeah, here it is. Let me increase the size a bit smaller. You see that it is, well, the page model, just the tab information. What is the tab information? Well, there are a number of things in there. For instance, if you go to the edit control of a page, let's just take this one. You see the name, you see the title, you see the description, and when you go back to the source of the page model, you see all those things back, or almost. You can see the title, you can see well, the meta information, fav icon, whatever. But what you don't see is things like small icon, large icon. Those things are not available in this structure. I always wonder why, but it's how it is in DNN. So if you want to get to that, you must do something special. You cannot simply say what we do here. Let me go back to my skin again. You cannot simply say, is being used? Maybe it's used in the, no, it's probably not used. I will use it in my other skin. No, it's not here. So you can simply say model dot tab ID or model dot name, model dot title, and if you do that, you have model dot. Then you have the title of that page. So that's how it works. You can just use that model in the sense that you just type at model, and then you can do dot. Oh, it does crazy things. Title, and that will render the title at that particular place in my skin. So, if you want to do the other stuff, you have to, of course, declare a variable and use that variable subsequently in your skin. I will show that in the other skin. So, this is a sort of startup from where we are. We have a skin, we have helpers, we have a model, which is, the model is needed, and together with that, what is it, the web config file, and that web config file actually says, well, this is the pages stuff here you can work with. So if you don't include this web config inside the views folder of your skin, it will not work. It's just, well, it's needed, it's mandatory. Let's go back to the slides, because what I wanted to do is, how far can I go? So I have this site, and this site has a DNN Go skin on it. DNN Go is that the thing you can buy on the store, and that has a, if you like it, it has a nice view, and you can use that for your client. You can configure using this X plugin, and you can, oh, sorry, that was not my, that you can say, well, I want another font, I want this, I want that, and but that's, of course, that's something that guy who calls himself Linda has built. And I wanted to try, can I convert this particular skin, because it has some features in it and it has nice styling, at least some people think it's nice. And it got a menu on the side and it got all kinds of very nice things. So can I convert that to an MVC skin? Okay, so I'm a lazy guy, so what did I do? I already have a skin that is MVC, so I asked my friend or my girlfriend, what was it? I don't know exactly. I asked Cursor from, hey, I have this situation, I have a ASCX skin, and I want to convert that to a MVC skin. I have an example here, and then I have from how the base ASCX version is and how it should look for the base cshtml, and put it in this particular folder and replace user controls with helpers. Well, of course, and when I'm in Cursor, I say, well, make a plan. And it came up with a plan, of course, and that plan, you can't probably read it, but it is something like from, hey, I can go over it and I see what it is doing, and I say, okay, well, that looks sort of okay. Let's try that. And what happens, of course, it's created a new skin, or not a new skin. It created from this MVC, from this ASCX skin, it created a eraser version. So, and of course, it doesn't do that correctly right away. I had to tell that guy from, okay, I see that there are duplicates in the panes. I get a lot of extra classes. Please remove them. So you go back and forth with Cursor, and it sort of corrects, or you ask it to correct it, and then because there are a lot of those panes in that skin, and so if you do that by hand, it takes an hour, and you can better ask Cursor to do that. But there is one thing. There's a component from DNN component, and that's not available. So it's not available. That means that let me show the version here. So here we got that little sneaky DNN skin plugin. Oh, sorry. So this plugin, and yeah, well, we cannot do anything with it. So with some back and forth, it added a menu. So we got this mega menu, and in the cshtml version, of course, we have also a sort of mega menu, but it looks a bit different. So it gets...
That menu is their own component, isn't it?
What?
That menu is a
yes,
component by DNN.
Yeah, DNN has a DLL, which contains, when you go to some kind of tool that you can re-engineer that component, you can see what's inside of, and one of the components, of course, is a menu. And so Cursor created for me a structure from, hey, this is the client ID, yeah, that's CSS class, because it's also there, and it got a menu style, and it took the menu style from my old skin that's already MVC compatible, and did some node stuff and node selector, and this is all pretty standard. And what happens that a couple of things. First, of course, this plugin, which is part of the DNN stuff, is not there because, hey, nothing to convert. And it did some other stuff. Let's see if I can show that. So this is a sort of something wrong with the profile picture, but if that's maybe if I refresh, there's back again. So we got a nice looking skin, you got mouse overs, and this particular skin uses not pure CSS, but it uses JavaScript to show this menu. After I converted that skin, it looked like, where am I? Yeah, that's here. Oh no, this is the good one, and the other one is this DNN MVC version. So you see, hey, this is a blank screen. This is strange. Well, what happens, of course, is that there are there's in this particular case this section which is blank, and where you see in the source, and that's of course the work you are doing, is that hey, what is this? What kind of style it is? Okay, it makes the form tag 100% size. Well, 100% for the form tag in the MVC version does not make sense because the form tag is empty. In the MVC version, there is a form tag, but it's empty. It's not surrounding my skin. So you have to do some tweaks. In this particular case, the tweak was, hey, let me put it a bit. So let me add some CSS, some very small CSS, to get rid of that white space. So now we have a sort of skin back. It's some things look okay, other things do not look okay. So you have to go work on that. And in this particular case, I needed to look at where does that CSS come from that does the styling for this particular skin. So, and then you go back to the MVC version, and then you MVC version is this one, and then you go to your control, and you're going to look at from, hey, where is this CSS coming from, and then you get that CSS, and that CSS comes from that particular actually that skin object that has a CSS and JavaScript file inside that folder. So that's what you have to include. So if you include that stuff, in this particular case, I excluded it because I had to find it by hand. From, hey, where is that stuff to make it look the same? So we had this CSS. If you can read it a bit. This is it's called jQuery menu CSS. I don't know where the name comes from, but that is the CSS it uses, and it also uses some JavaScript to open and close the menu. So that requires some investigation from where does that come from, and how can I use that? But if you take half an hour, then you sort of get it, and so if I use that CSS, I can sort of get my skin back or my menu back, and that's sort of what happens. So I now include those two style and CSS files, but it's still not quite okay, and that is because the structure of my my menu was not correct. So what I did is I took the output of the ASCX skin and gave that to cursor again, and have cursor say from I convert the skin of the menu is not correct. So try to replicate the menu as what is currently in the skin. So when you look at the particulars of that menu, then you can see that especially the submenus are kind of strange in the sense that we usually have an ordered list of an unordered list as a menu, and in this case it created what they call a mega menu. So they have a div class around it and stuff like that. So I had to replicate this, and with the help of Cursor, it was pretty easy to replicate that. You just have to ask the right question. And then I added that thing to the so I created a new menu variant, and I added that to my skin. So now I have a new variant of the menu, and then you get an improvement. Let me put it that way. So I go back and try to reload the skin, and now I got, with the help of those components that were already inside that skin, and I could use those components, and I get sort of the same look and feel. Actually, it's the same CSS and the same HTML that's being outputted, and the JavaScript that it uses. So it's the same. I had to do that the same for those for the other menu, for the left side menu, and of course for the mobile menu. I had to do that also. So. Yeah, the end of the story is actually that you have a skin which sort of looks the same. It does not have the same features as that DNN Go skin, but because the DNN Go skin had that thing that can manipulate your HTML as well as your styling, because they have all kinds of templates in that. But now you have a version that sort of looks like that skin. So let me see what I want to say more about it. So that's the Cursor version. Yeah, that was my what is it? A conversation in Cursor on how you can do that, and you have to correct a little bit, and then of course I had to add some corrections and another corrections, and for the left menu I had to do the same. So there are also some kind of gotchas that you have to take care of. Let me show you one, and that is that's probably a bug. Here you see here I'm not logged in. So where you're not logged in, currently that's skin object, that login skin object in this particular version. I'm not sure if that in the Aperture it uses another skin object for user and login, but in this we get here that when you look at it, you see some JavaScript being rendered as text. So here you got the script, and that script, I don't know what it's for, but it's sort of, it's rendered as text. So yeah, then you have to do another dirty thing and say, okay, I don't like that. So I say, well, a little bit of extra CSS, and then it's gone again. But of course, that's not the solution. It should not be there in the first place. But you get around it, and it's now gone, and you can log in, and all things are fine. The difficult thing that I had for this particular skin was that we have that custom component which spits out HTML and all kinds of other stuff for the menu, and you have to really work to get your menu back and to use that styling that's already in there. Yeah, okay, here's a screenshot of that, decompile, and you see that from that DLL of, DNN Go, and you see that there are all kinds of components that renders the menu. So you have to sort of look at hey, what is in there? Maybe you have to look at, I did not have to look at, because I just took the output of the ASCX skin and converted that to for the menu. So yeah, that's and then of course you have if you want to do that for yourself, there's lots of documentation you can use. It's in these slides, and it's well, of course documentation built or generated by Sasha. That's in this particular, yeah, here. No, it's probably here. Yeah. So Sasha made a transformation guide, which is in the, I don't know where it is. In the app. Okay, in the skin, in the Apache skin here has a nice documentation from, hey, what do you need to do to get your skin converted to cshtml, to the MVC version. So pretty straightforward, I would think. It's not that difficult. Oh yeah, there was one thing I forgot to tell, and let's first get my screen back. And that was using other components from the source in your skin. Well, that's what you can do here. So, for instance, if you want to have the icons from your page inside your skin, you have to get the active tab, and that you can do. And then, of course, you can simply say from, hey, tab dot large icon or whatever, or maybe it's just icon, and get that, and then you get the source of the file. Yeah, you get a reference to the file, and then you can put that in an image tag and do whatever you want with it. So actually, same as always, you can reference any object from the DNN structure, as long as it's available in the skin. So it's not available in the skin, you don't get it, of course. But that's what you can do. Let me see if there's something else. No, that was it. Thanks for the sponsors again. Other questions? Daniel.
So I noticed you're using the portal settings.current, which I believe is one of the old bad anti-patterns. Is there no dependency injection for that?
I did not acoustically hear you, so.
The question is, was there no dependency injection in the skin to get, instead of portal settings current, to go there? As I was looking at the code as well, I was thinking, well, probably this is going to change a little bit towards the future, because I cannot imagine that you would have a page model with just the static properties of the active tab. Instead, what I would like to push for is that across the entire framework, not just in the skins but also in the modules, whenever I want my context, there is a single object I can inject, which will be the current tab, the current portal, the current user. All these things need to be basically available at every point in the code everywhere in a similar fashion. So I think that's still under change.
Next question. I saw you also try to convert the to shine skin.
And yes, I did that also, yeah. Sort of.
That was probably no problem because it didn't do any weird stuff.
No, that sort of worked the same. Well, it took me a couple of hours because it's the first one I did, or more or less the first one I did. And first I had to understand the to shine structure, because that's also your structure, or at least your company structure, and say you have thought about it and you have used stuff that I would not use, so I have to familiarize myself with it. But that worked as well. Yeah, I put that on GitHub, so you can get that.
About dependency injection, I know portal settings you can inject by dependency injection, but actually you get back a e-portal setting, where there is no active tab on it.
Yeah. Because again, it's just fucked up the way it is now.
And the other remark is that in .NET framework, you cannot use dependency injection in Razor files.
I
like you do in .NET Core, you can use @inject.
Het is inclusive.
It's not available in .NET Framework. So you cannot, on a nice way, use dependency injection.
But the constructor injection, just like you do on the controls?
Yes, on the controls you can, but not in the Radar files, directly inject some stuff. In .NET Core you have @inject. Then you can directly inject a service in your Radar file. It's not possible in .NET.
So for the skin, you would not have a CS file?
No.
No, like in web forms.
Yeah, the skin has its own background control CS file, but that's baked into the MVC pipeline library, and it's assumed to be always there. We can always discuss if that should somehow, if we should have more options there. I think that would be a valid question going forward, because I can totally see how you would want to have dependency injection
Absolutely.
in the skin. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure anymore, but I think the only way that I've seen which is done in .NET Framework is that you add dependency injection in the model, a dependency provider in the model, and then you can do it.
Yeah, so you're calling the container at that point.
Yes, that's one way, but actually the Razor skin file is the view of the default controller, the unique controller of the MVC pipeline.
Yeah.
And there is also a layout file used by the skin MVC. Yeah? But views can be used in cascade, so you can in reality have, but it's not solve the problem.
Oh, come on, Sasha. This afternoon we'll solve that.